Hello and welcome to today's webinar on Nuclias Cloud. My name is Phil Tarbox, National Sales Manager for Business Solutions. It's great to have your company with us today, whether you are watching with us live or you are watching on the D-Link YouTube channel. It is great to have your company with us today. My name is Phil Tarbox, National Sales Manager for Business Solutions, and always it is fantastic to have my colleague Ilya right alongside me, the Commercial Product Manager for D-Link in Australia and New Zealand. It is great to have Ilya here today. In addition to having Ilya with us, we have also got a couple of guests with us today as well. But first up, here's what we're going to be running through today. We're going to be having a look at Nuclias Cloud. Nuclias Cloud is not a new product, but to many people, it may be something that you're coming across the first time. So we'll be talking about the Nuclias Cloud solution and how that works, who that is aimed for. After that, we'll be hearing from Alex Salim, Senior Network Engineer at Procision, to get his first impressions of Nuclias Cloud and how the team at Procision have been using that product within their business. We'll also be having a look at the Nuclias Cloud dashboard with Ilya. Looking forward to seeing all the latest and greatest features which are appearing in there. And after that, we'll be hearing from Aaron Portelli, Managing Director at A&S Tech, talking about deploying Nuclias Cloud and talking about some of the deployments that he's done. And we've got a case study that'll be coming out very, very soon after that as well. So after hearing all of these great things about Nuclias, there's some, I'm sure there will be some questions that everybody here attending will have. There'll be some next steps there, what to do next. And then there's an opportunity for us to answer some of those questions that you have during the session. I'm sure all of us are very used to seeing Zoom. There is a Q&A box which is available in the Zoom panel. We'd certainly encourage you to drop your questions into that Q&A box, and we will do our best to get to those questions right at the end of the webinar, not during the webinar, but right at the end. Please make sure you stick around to the end of the webinar, where we'll also have a very special offer that will be just for people here that are attending the webinar as well. If you do want to catch up on this webinar or any other webinars that we've run during 2020 and 2021, you can do that on our YouTube channel. Just simply go to YouTube, search for D-Link Australia or D-Link New Zealand, select playlists, go to webinars, and then you'll find a list of around about 20 odd webinars that we've completed over the last 12 months. So great to have your company, but I think it is time to get started. Let's take it away. So introducing Nuclias Cloud. So what is Nuclias Cloud all about? Well, put simply, it's an end-to-end cloud managed networking solution, really optimized to be able to make network administration tasks as simple and as painless as possible. We all know what managing networks are like. We all know that they can be difficult to try and troubleshoot. There can be some bespoke configurations that customers have. And of course, in a place like Australia, and I dare say New Zealand as well, there can be lots of distance between you and your customers as well. So anything that can make being able to manage a network and to monitor network and to configure a network as easy, as simple and as painless as possible is absolutely going to be great from a customer perspective, but also from the reseller or managed service provider perspective as well. So before we launched Nuclias Cloud into Australia, the team at D-Link, we spent a fair amount of time going out and getting feedback from the market as to what people disliked about their current cloud networking provider that they were using. So things that we heard back pretty regularly were things like there's no multi-tenancy that's available. That makes it really difficult for a reseller or a managed service provider to be able to manage multiple customers all at the same time. Very difficult and unnecessary to have lots and lots of different usernames and passwords to be able to go in and to have to individually manage and set up different customers. People didn't really like that very much. In terms of the way that products were being licensed, in particular, having to pay up front for a 1, 3, 5, or 10-year license for networking equipment that you were buying. For a lot of MSPs, they're billing their customers every month for services that they're supplying to them, whether it be Office 365 or help desk, break fix for AWS, Azure, these sorts of services. Customers are getting very used to paying for things monthly, and they don't really like, I guess, the bill shock and the sticker shock of having to go and pay for support and maintenance upfront, particularly if you're looking at a 5 and 10-year license subscription. Really inconvenient from a cash flow / CapEx point of view as well. Other things that people didn't like is that when a license expired, that the product no longer worked. That was absolutely a big bugbear, that a very expensive item, whether it be a switch or a wireless access point, no longer worked if you decided not to renew the license on that product. Co-terming is certainly something that lots of people have expressed great frustration with, that these things are really difficult to be able to do. Co-terming is where you may have multiple devices, but with licenses all expiring at different times. And of course, the people in finance that are paying these bills, they don't really like getting lots of surprise bills, unpredictable bills that are coming through. And co-terming can be a really challenging thing to work through with different vendors as well. And of course, the availability of stock, not having stock in distribution, not having stock available in a just-in-time way was certainly a bit of a challenge as well. A particular product or a license being tied to a particular end user can be very difficult to change ownership of products with some vendors. That was certainly something that that lots of resellers and MSPs didn't particularly like, that they wanted that flexibility of being able to repurpose or reprovision product for different end customers. And of course, a lack of local support was certainly a big dislike as well. So at D-Link, for Nuclias Cloud, we've gone and built our solution with, I guess, delivering our resellers, MSPs, system integrators, a solution that they actually like. And we think we've gone and ticked a whole bunch of these boxes. Nuclias Cloud has been designed for managed service providers. That's who we've gone and built this product for. Multi-tenant is something that's standard, something that comes out of the box. It's not something that you need to go and add in as an optional item or request the vendor to go and add that for you. That is there out of the box. Monthly billing is all something that is done as standard as well. And those bills come through per month, per device, and is all billed in arrears. And of course, if a device isn't being used during a calendar month, it won't actually appear on your bill or on your statement. That's great news for you, the MSP, and it's great news for you, the customer, or for your customer as well. You're only paying for what you use. And of course, being that everything is billed monthly or based on usage, there's co-terming, which happens monthly automatically as well. There's nothing which needs to change on that. The licenses don't expire. Everything is all done pay as you go monthly. There's no use, there's no pay. In my opinion, that's a really big tick. It makes Nuclias Cloud a really flexible option for you and for your customers. It's local stock sitting inside of D-Link's vast network of distributors all across the country and the region. And of course, you get the ability to fully manage your own customers as required. You can go and spin up a new customer, go and assign an access point you've happened to have had in a cupboard, sitting there for a little while, and go and spin that up. You don't need any input, no hassle from the vendor. The vendor's not asking you for your end user details. You go and spin that up or spin that down as needed. And of course, all of this is hosted in Australia. That's something that people said was really, really important. That is hosted in a AWS instance in Australia. And of course, like all D-Link for Business networking products, you've got great access to our local Sydney-based level 2 and level 3 support teams as well. Lots of boxes that are ticked there. There's lots of things that the Nuclias Cloud product does, which deliver the type of solution that you, our customers, and potential customers told us that you were looking for to be able to supply to your customers. Here's an example of a statement that you get from D-Link at the beginning of each month. You can see your business name appearing under the partner name column, your MSP name, your managed service provider name. The organisation name is the organisation that you have the product installed with, which model is there, what the unique identifier and serial number are, and of course, the billing distributor that you've chosen for your monthly Nuclias bill to come through as well. This is a new feature which has come in after some feedback from a number of our partners and distributors. So from the 1st of May, this report will be going out every month to our partners. So please keep an eye out for that in your email inbox if you indeed are a current Nuclias customer or you're a potential Nuclias customer. So where do we see that Nuclias Cloud fits into the market? As you can see here, there's a number of vendors that we feel that we're competing with, and certainly from a feature point of view, we're offering features which are very similar to some of our leading, some of the leading market competitors, people like Ruckus, Aruba, and Meraki, but really aimed at the small to medium-sized enterprises, where these other vendors are certainly aimed at larger enterprises. Just because these are larger enterprises, that these other vendors have great success in that area, doesn't mean that the Nuclias Cloud product has any features which you wouldn't expect to see. It's just priced accordingly. Certainly, we feel that we're priced in a very, very market competitive way. And if you look at the specifications which are on our product, we're certainly very, very a very, very feature-rich product and offer very similar features, if not more, to a number of our larger competitors that you can see here. This technology is proven, and largely the Nuclias Cloud platform was built for a very large telco customer of ours in Japan, NTT, which I'm sure many of you on here on this webinar today are familiar with. So since 2015, NTT Japan have deployed more than 200,000 D-Link Nuclias Cloud access points across all sorts of types of different customers: hospitality, retail, restaurants, cafes, and going into some very, very large chain stores as well. It's a very, very large install base that rely on Nuclias Cloud access points to deliver very reliable internet connectivity, very reliable performance for lots and lots of customers every single day. So this is not a brand new product to the market. It's been available in some shape or form for at least 6 years. So you're buying into and your customers are using a very, very proven platform of product. If we look at the range of product, we've got a really comprehensive range of network switches and also wireless access points. So a mixture of PoE and non-PoE switches, which you can see here, all with a mixture of gigabit or copper Ethernet ports, and then a mixture of SFP ports as well, 1 gigabit fiber ports also. We look across the range of wireless access points. Just towards the end of last year, we've released a couple of Wi-Fi 6 access points, the DBA X1230P and the X2830P. Something pleased to say that they're performing very, very well. This presentation today that I'm doing and that Ilya's doing is going from a Nuclias Cloud network, which we've got installed in the D-Link Sydney offices. Really reliable product, offering really, really great performance. And we've got a mix of indoor and outdoor access points as well. Of course, those outdoor access points, they can be used indoors. They've just got some larger temperature variances as well, which Aaron from ANS might have some things to talk about on some of those Nuclias Cloud outdoor access points with a customer that they've recently acquired and recently won as well. If we look at the roadmap, there is some exciting products that are coming through. One thing that we really are quite excited about is our first tri-band wireless access point. So that's an access point that has 3 Wi-Fi radios on board, one 2.4 gigahertz radio and 2 5 gigahertz radios. As most people here would know, the more Wi-Fi radios you have on a wireless access point, the more concurrent users you can have connected. In addition, the higher performance that users are going to get out of that access point as well. That device is expected to ship during the 3rd quarter of this year. That's the September quarter. Something we've been talking about for a little while. Unfortunately, there have been some minor delays with our SD-WAN router. That is expected to arrive during Q3, most likely in August of this year. We've got a sample of this product arriving soon, and I know a number of our channel managers across the region have got a number of MSPs that are very keen to evaluate these products. We're certainly very excited to bring in the DBG 2000 SD-WAN router into our range. We really think that this is going to really complete the Nuclias Cloud product offering that we have available. So please keep an eye out for those products. No doubt a number of you subscribe or receive our monthly D-Link for Business newsletter. Of course, we'll be making announcements on that, and you'll no doubt see announcements across other forms of social media, whether it be Twitter, whether it be LinkedIn as well. So if you're not following us in those platforms, please be sure to go and do that as well. Some really exciting products that are coming through this year. We can't wait to get out there and start talking to people about these new products as well. Okay, I would now like to introduce Alex Salim, Senior Network Engineer from D-Link partner Procision, to join the conversation with us now. Just wait for Alex to get his video started and also to get his audio started.
Hi, Phil.
Very good day to you, Alex. Great to be with us today.
Likewise.
Excellent. Thanks so much for giving up some of your time to be with us today. What I would like to do, I'll just stop sharing the screen here, and our viewers today can get a look at you. Good morning, Alex. Great to have you with us today.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning.
Excellent. Everyone. So, Alex, tell us a little bit about yourself and a little bit about the Procision business.
Yeah, Procision has been around for a bit more than 20 years. We're based in Melbourne. We're an MSP provider we're solution focused. We actually try to tackle our customers' problems and find them the best technological solutions. The last couple of years, we've seen big growth in cybersecurity networking, along with our traditional software and hardware business.
Yep.
And we're always out there on the lookout for new technologies and assessing how it's going to evolve our business and how find the best products for our customers. I've been with Procision for the last around 6 years as a senior network engineer.
Okay.
And I'm part of the escalation team, and yeah, it's been really exciting times.
I'm sure that everything that's happened in the last 12 months globally, I'm sure everybody on here is probably sick of talking about and hearing about COVID, but no doubt there's been lots of challenges that not only your business has found, but that your clients have found as well, in terms of I guess totally new and different way of working.
Yeah, it was a sudden change, and with sort of with the lockdowns, everything that happened with no time to prepare for it. But luckily, we've quickly adapted and were able to support our customers.
I guess that's one of the things I love about working in this space, is that there's always change. There's always new things which come along, and I guess only the nimble and the fittest will survive as well. And it certainly looks like the team at Procision fit into that category.
Yeah, it's true.
So I guess what was the, you mentioned there that that Procision is, I guess, always on the lookout for new technology and always looking to evolve the business and so on. Was that how come you came to be using Nuclias Cloud at Procision? Tell me, I guess, a bit about your journey and introduction to Nuclias Cloud.
Yeah, well, Paul Foley, our director at Procision, he told me that we're going to start implementing Nuclias Cloud with a couple of our customers, and he was like actually excited about it. And like it's a new product, it's a cloud-based and centrally managed, and everything you're after, Alex, that you've been asking us about for a while. We're looking for a solution. That's the sort of because we've always had, as a MSP, we always had sort of a kind of network infrastructure scattered all over the place, and always has been a challenge to sort of manage it effectively. And I was like, well, I wasn't aware that D-Link are now having some sort of cloud-based solution, and then as soon as I started, testing the product, and I was also really excited, and I was it actually also changed my mind. I was and I don't know, me personally, I felt it was like a big jump for D-Link, and it did change my perspective about the offerings and products.
Yeah, great. And I guess that's certainly one of our challenges. Clearly we've been very successful in the home and consumer networking space for many years now. Certainly, as you see there with NTT, been using this product since 2015, over 200,000 wireless access points deployed across their customers in Japan. And of course, back in 1986, when D-Link was founded, there was no home consumer networking. It was all product going into business type customers. So yeah, look, that's great. Thank you very much for giving us the opportunity to work with you. Certainly, Paul, I guess from your perspective, he's taken a bit of a leap of faith. You might have said to him, "Paul, are you sure you want to do this?" You might have had this sort of idea with him. So you mentioned there that that Nuclias Cloud's been a really big jump for D-Link, that it's kind of changed your perspective. What changed your mind?
Well, for starters, it's actually provisioning devices or switches and access points is really easy. And the ability to control the aspects from the Nuclias Cloud dashboard was a real winner. And also I was concerned about, learning a new product and also training our juniors and level 1 and 2 techs to use it. But the actual setup and the structure of the Nuclias Cloud is the platform is intuitive. Like it's easy. You can quickly pick up, and it doesn't require any extensive trainings or certificates or vast amount of experience. And yeah, all that together, it's actually made me really excited and changed my mind about it, and it's just a really practical product.
So tell me, you say it's practical. How's it practical? Is it the dashboard? Is it the way that is the way about where you go about finding things?
Yeah, well, it's from the actual start to from the moment that you unbox a D-Link switch to the provisioning process into when it's into the cloud and how it's managed. It's kind of the entire process is practical because it's easy, quick, straightforward, and you can, and also the structure of the cloud platform, as I said previously, is well organized, and you can find things pretty quick.
Okay, great. So are there any other ways that Nuclias Cloud has benefited you, and I guess benefited Procision and your customers?
Yeah. So basically, at the start when we started rolling out D-Links, and we were like, we're discussing internally, like, what do you guys think we can have like a sort of a good test for the product, the Nuclias Cloud, and see, if this is actually, does what they claim to do. We had one customer that was having a couple of network issues, and we did a couple of site visits and trying to troubleshoot it, but we're struggling to find the problem, because we didn't have we have limited visibility into the network. And then we were like, you know what, we just drop a D-Link switch and provision into the cloud, and just let it run for a bit and see how we go. And yeah, it quickly helped us identify the problem, the network, or the source where it's coming from, and help us resolve the problem in a really timely manner.
Okay, good stuff. I guess anything can help that out without having to send a tech on site, or a tech to having a long time on site, is obviously great for your business, and sure, it's good for your customer as well. Your customer is going to be, paying you less money. That's maybe not so great for your business, but great for the customer.
I mean, at the end of the day, you've got a reputation they need to maintain. If you can't resolve issues quickly and effectively, the customer will go out there, look for someone else.
So you talk about, I guess this sort of customer. What's a typical customer for Procision, and why do you think Nuclias Cloud has been a good fit for so many of them?
Well, we've got a lot of different type of customers. Some of our customers are basically in the business of managing car parks.
Okay.
But so, and usually the onboarding process, then you get really short timeframes and notices to onboard car parks, and that could happen, in over 48 hours. And being able to, with having D-Link or using D-Link switches, that helped us sort of streamline the process of onboarding car parks. First of all, the stock is, in Australia. The provisioning and adding new devices to the cloud is pretty quick and easy, and so yeah, it's helped us speed up the process without having to worry about doing any command line configs or time consuming. For example, one of the requirements for this car park is building or creating VLANs. It's a core requirement, and through the Nuclias Cloud, it's really easy to manage. You simply just select the ports and assign the VLAN, and you're good to go.
And without having to go and do a really big certification course and a couple of years of training.
Yeah, that's true. Absolutely. Yeah.
I guess if you understand those network fundamentals, Nuclias Cloud has made it really easy to go and apply.
You made it really easy. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And you can, and anyone, honestly, anyone can do it. Like, as I said, just a bit of training, and any level 2 tech can handle the job.
Terrific. That's great. Thanks so much, Alex, for sharing some of your thoughts about, I guess, becoming a Nuclias Cloud partner, and I guess the trepidation that you thought at the beginning, and I guess your experience of how that's been really straightforward.
And now that you've mentioned the SD-WAN routers, I wasn't aware it's in the pipeline. I'm actually really excited about that. And
good stuff. We're really excited about that as well. Make sure you speak to your account manager. Speak to Colin Chamberlain. I'm sure he will be very happy to get some evaluation product out to you when we get some samples in before the main product comes in.
Well, thank you.
Terrific. Great. Thanks so much, Alex.
Cheers. Bye, everyone.
All right. Excellent. Thanks, Alex, for sharing some of your story there.
No worries. You're welcome.
Okay, so now I'd like to take us through a bit of a walk through the management of the D-Link Nuclias Cloud product. We can certainly show you a whole bunch of screenshots that we've got here. This is the Nuclias Cloud dashboard, but I think the best way to do this would be with a live demonstration with the undeniably amazing Ilya, our highly esteemed commercial product manager at D-Link. Ilya, it's great to welcome you. Great to welcome you here today. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you, Phil, for such a warm introduction. Great to be here. So I'm happy to show you the the dashboard, and not only the dashboard, just the walkthrough of how Nuclias Cloud is, our cloud device is configured, and what you can see here, what reports you can get. There was an update not that long ago for the Nuclias Cloud, so for those who are already using that product, it would be probably interesting also to see, so I'll highlight some of the new things that were introduced. And I also want to thank all our partners who provided feedback on the Nuclias Cloud. Actually, our developers do take all the feedback that we send them seriously, and a lot of features that we'll see today, or new features we'll see today, are basically thanks or due to the feedback that we received. So as Phil mentioned, Nuclias Cloud is designed with MSPs in mind. So when you log in into it, you'll straight away see an overview of all your customers. As you can see, so you'll have a list of your customers and what's happening with all the devices. So you will see how many devices are offline, how many are dormant, and how many are online. And you can quickly, so there's a little shortcut here, and you can quickly click on it and see what's happening with all those devices, say access points, switches, and soon to be SD-WAN routers. If you want to drill down further into details, say into your customers, so you can just click here, and that will give you a dashboard for that particular customer. So it gives you a nice overview of what's happening with all the devices, how many are offline, how many are online. You also get warnings here, and you have a nice map here which shows you where the devices are located if you set up your addresses in your site settings. And you can even click here on the site, and you can see what devices are there, what are they doing, if they're online or offline, and you can jump into floor plans if you need to. But I'll show that to you later. So you will see, well, alerts here. You can jump into reports in here, and also on the dashboard you see a nice overview of all your devices, which are most active devices. So you see there's how much traffic these devices put through in the last 24 hours, and you can get a bit more information here as well. But of course, you can receive all that through the reports, more detailed reports. You can make them as detailed as you wish. So here is a little shortcut there for clients, so you can see what the clients are doing. Again, you can also check what their signal strength is, if they're wireless clients, how much traffic they produce and downloaded. So that all quite useful information and available readily right through from the dashboard. Now the dashboard itself, so that's a new feature again. So the dashboard itself is customizable. As you can see, there is an option here, and you can say enable, disable certain tiles. You can even move them around if you want to, and say rearrange them the way you prefer. And let's just reset it back to how it was. So as you can see, very easy to get an overall view of all your customer devices and look at multiple sites if needed. Of course, you can monitor the device themselves. So I want to show you how you can monitor, say, your access points. So this view shows you for how long the device has been online. So if there were any disruptions or disconnections, or if the device was dropping off the internet, off the network, you will straight away see it here in this bar with some red stripes, and it will have timestamps showing when exactly the access point went offline and went back online. If we look at say an access point itself, so again, very nice view here with some information here on serial number, etc., what the password is, what IP address settings of this access point, including DNS and gateway information. And there is also here a shortcut to firmware. So there's a way to see straight away if the firmware has been updated to the latest or not. And this is a new feature which I want to show you, is the firmware. Let it load. Oops, sorry, probably clicked too fast. Hang on. And oops, here we go. So this is a new feature that, again, the feedback we received from our partners and from our customers, saying that they would like to see firmware release notes, and whenever the new firmware comes out, to see right in the portal what exactly has changed. So here's a change log, so you can click on firmware, you can go through multiple versions and see what exactly has been applied in this update. Now, in regards to firmware updates, so again, that's a new feature as well. So by default, all devices will have auto upgrade enabled. So whenever there's a new firmware comes out, it will be updated on schedule. The schedule is controllable, obviously. So by default, it is Sunday midnight. But if you want to set up your own update schedule, you can do that as well. So there's a little wizard here. So as you can see, by default, the auto update is enabled. Of course, you can change that, and you can set an update to a specific time and day if you want to, or do it right away if you want to do it. You want to do it now. But generally, yeah. So it is advisable to leave it on auto update, so you don't even have to think about updating firmware, and it will happen automatically in the background. Some other things that you can see in this view, so obviously the information about the SSIDs or wireless networks that you've got set up here, what type of security is enabled. You have access to the radio, of course, and you can see what how the radio is set up, what are the settings, what channels are enabled, etc. So very nice quick overview of your access point. And you have a shortcut here, again, for convenience. If you want to change any settings, you straight away can jump into the profile and change the settings there. So I'll show you in a moment how it is done. Some useful tools here which might help with troubleshooting if something goes wrong. So you can, for example, set up a ping. So you can type an IP address or a URL and try to ping from an access point, and you will see the results here right away. And you can check how routing works. If you want to verify how route from that site happens into the internet or into a specific IP address, you can do trace route as well. And obviously, you can reboot the access point, and you can flash the LEDs if you need to locate the access point on site. So the switches obviously offer you similar type of monitoring. So let me show you what the switches are displaying. So you will see what the switches are, and additional information. If it is a PoE switch, for example, will show you what's the power budget of this model is, and also how much power is being delivered by the switch. And if you look into the switch status again, all the information about the IP address and how it is configured. There's also a nice summary here, which shows you very quickly what the ports on the switch are doing, if they're delivering power, what speed they're connecting at. So this is a gigabit, obviously. This is a 100 megabits connection, how much voltage per each port, and there's information here on CPU utilization and for how long a switch has been connected, if there are any dropouts or any disconnections. And very easily, if you click on one of the ports, for example, you will see information on what the port has been doing in the last 24 hours, or you can view it for the last week. But again, I'll show you later a more detailed reporting, which can go further in time. So you can see this is obviously a surveillance switch. So I've got a camera connected to it. And the traffic increases during daytime because there's more people moving in front of the camera, so it requires a bit more traffic, a bit more bandwidth to transfer the video. And you see all the information about the port configuration. So again, quite useful. What's enabled, what protocols enabled, which ones are disabled. You have some troubleshooting options in here. Again, I'll show you what the cable test does. So we'll do a test, and you can cycle the port. So if say you know that the camera is locked up or an access point locked up on that port, you can just do a test. That means that it will disable PoE and then re-enable PoE, and the camera or the access point connected to that port will reboot. Some useful information again here about any errors. So obviously total traffic. And you can see if there were any CSC errors or fragmentation or collisions, etc. and you can view it, say, last 24 hours. So it will give you all that information here. So very nice summary. If you want to have a look at the power, so if it is a PoE switch, so again, you can see how power was delivered by that switch throughout the day in the last 24 hours. So at night, obviously, the power goes up because that it's a night vision camera, so infrared LEDs kicking in at night when the light goes out, and that requires a bit more power. So all this information is here, and you can see it individually for each port, how much power each port is consuming. And the tools that I mentioned, so the again, the ping as with access points, with the switches, you can also see the MAC forwarding table, so you can identify MAC addresses which are linked to a specific port, so that helps you to track the devices if you need to. So there's a cycle, PoE cycle port, as I showed you earlier, and there's a cable test which allows you to verify if the cabling is okay. So if the device is playing up, if you're getting errors or no connectivity, you can actually do a test. So let's just quickly do a test here on port 12, and it will show us the result. If the pairs, so obviously there are 4 pairs in here, it is 100 base connection, so it only uses 2 pairs, not all 4, and they are obviously okay, and it gives you an estimate of the length of that cable, so 49 meters here. And again, locate the device, so you can click on that, and that will start blinking with all the ports. That means that if the customer is on site, you can identify which switch you're currently configuring. So that helps quite a bit. Another thing that helps quite a bit to identify devices is the floor plans, which you can upload into the system. So here there's a floor plan, say, of the office, and you can arrange your access points or your switches. Again, that will help you and your customer to identify which device they're referring to, or which device you want the customer to have a look at. So another handy feature. Now let's have a look at the configuration options. As Alex was saying, it is quite easy to configure the devices, and to provision a device will take a minute or 2, and that's it. But if you only need, say, basic configuration, but if you want to go and configure advanced features, these are also available here. So it is done as easy as, so there's already preset profiles in the system, or you can create your own profile. So if you want to, let's say, set up a profile for an access point, you select a model. And a good thing about it is that you can use either default configuration or use a clone configuration from existing profiles. So you don't need to set up each profile individually again and again. So you can just copy from the ones you created earlier. So if you create a profile, it gives you straight away information about what SSIDs are there. So by default, there's Nuclias Guest and Nuclias Office, and of course, you can change all that and change the name, set up what security you want to use on that particular SSID. All other options here. So since it is Nuclias Guest, so there's a guest mode enabled by default. You can obviously disable it and disable net, etc. So there are all these options in here, and that's basically it. Of course, if you want to go a bit further with configuration, there is an option here to create a captive portal. So again, if it is an access point that you will be providing internet access to public use, you can create a portal where people will authenticate, and you have options here to create authentication with sign-on with SMS authentication, where people would need to specify their mobile number, or email authentication, so they specify their email, and the link to activate the connection will be sent via email. So there are some splash pages or login pages already preset in the system, which you can use. Or if you want, you can, so there's a source code available in here if you want to modify or copy it, or you can create your own. So there's an option here to set up your own splash page, upload your own image, background, etc. So that is all available. So it makes it quite easy to set up any type of wireless network. In terms of radio configuration, again, all the options that you have here, you can change. You can leave it as default, but say some people prefer configure their wireless network the way they prefer. So with channels, again, you can choose whichever channels you want to use. You may exclude, say, certain channels if you know that these are used for something else, or say in Australia, for example, so channels 12, 13 are okay to use, but some devices may not support those channels if they're designed for different countries. So it is say advisable to disable those just in case. And of course, there is an option here to set up automatic channel scan. That means that your access points will automatically scan surroundings and find what channels are the best to use to avoid interference. And you can set it up to run automatically, or you can do the channel scan right away if you want to. And if you want to set up other options in here, as I said, so there's some advanced options there as well. So as you can see, quite easy to set up wireless access points. So let's have a look at setting up the switches. So as Alex mentioned, he's setting up VLANs. So again, very easy to configure. So the configuration offers you to configure, say, devices, 10-port devices, 28-port devices, depending on what switch you want. So if, for example, we have a 28-port switch, we can just filter it to 28 ports. And we can, say, modify multiple ports in one go, or just one, aggregate them straight away. And if we're editing the port, so it is very straightforward. As you can see, you can name the ports if you want to, and you can assign, so enable or disable, say, spanning tree protocol. There's VLAN configuration. So all you need to do is just type in whatever VLANs are allowed for that particular port and what is the native VLAN. Some other options in here, so obviously enable, disable PoE, but there's also one I wanted to mention, the PD Alive. What it is, it allows the switch to ping a specific IP address. So for example, if you've got a camera or an access point or something, or a phone on that particular port, and if that camera, say, logs up and stops responding to pings, the switch will automatically disable and re-enable PoE, so that the device will reboot and hopefully will come back online. So that's another useful feature. And you can set up, say, scheduled policy. If you want your port to only be available at certain times of the day, you can set that up as well. So other options that you will see in the configuration is, apart from the ports, some advanced features and access policies and the GMP snooping. But as I said, just the basic configuration will only take a minute or two to set up, and you can easily use just the default profile, which is configured here. Now let's have a look. So any changes that you do are recorded in the change log, so you can see straight away what's been applied. So if you've got multiple people, obviously you'll see who changed the configuration where. So that's another handy tool in here. And if you want to have a detailed report on what's happening with the customer's network, you can go into reports. You can view all these reports here. You can download these reports as Excel spreadsheet. You can set up your own templates if you want to have, pie charts or graphs, etc. That can all be done. You can email that report to yourself, and obviously you can limit it to specific products only, access points and switches. And you can see the results in, say, 24 hours or a week, 2 weeks, month, or 2 months. But you're not limited just to that. You can actually go back to previous reports. So the download archives, as you can see, there's reports going back 3 years or so. So these, again, these reports are available to all administrator users, but you can obviously limit access to different types of people. So multi-tenancy is one of the features that D-Link Nuclias Cloud offers. Now, alerts is another feature that I wanted to show you. So you can see what exactly has been happening, and if there's anything critical, it will appear here. Say you can see access point of 1 to 5 minutes. You can set up alerts to send you an email if anything happens on your network. So if any new device has been registered, if the firmware has been upgraded, etc. So you can set up all sorts of alerts for yourself, and the email will be sent to you so you can keep an eye on the network. And obviously, when you log in, you straight away see if there are any alerts here. And another thing which we also introduced based on feedback from our customers is the announcements. So there are announcements on new firmwares, and you can see what this firmware does, and you can see what's the change log for that particular firmware. Now let's have a look at multi-tenancy. So if you've got your customers, obviously multiple customers, and they need a separate entry in your system, so it is very easy to do. So create organization. You can even put a logo or a picture here of the customer, and you can specify the name and specify the country it is in. And you can add multiple sites for that particular customer, and obviously specify all the information that you want, again with contact information and the address, etc. So it will appear on the map. And then you can add your customer accounts. Quite easy, as you can see. So you can specify name, email address, and you can give this person, depending on what this person is supposed to be doing, either administrator rights or editor who can modify the settings, or just monitor, or just a viewer. And you can limit access to specific sites only, which is again allows you to create different users, or even give access your end user, your customer, to have an eye on their network. So another feature that we introduced is that I wanted to mention is two-factor authentication. Again, there was a feedback from our customers saying that username and password may not always be the most secure way to authenticate with Nuclias Cloud. So you have an option here to enable either email or Google Authenticator, so you can use a Google app to send a code to you, and you can log in using your email and the code, which would be sent to your phone. So this is in a nutshell what dealing Nuclias Cloud looks like. So as you can see, very easy to get around, allows you very quickly to provision devices. Configuring devices takes 1 or 2 minutes max, and you can apply this configuration to multiple devices at the same time. So there is an option here to bulk configure, where you can upload an Excel spreadsheet with all your customers, all the configuration that you want, and configure, say, 5,000 devices in one go if you need to. So you can be as detailed with your setup, or you can use the default profiles which are already in the system. So I hope that that covers everything. If you have any questions or any suggestions, please do share with us. As I said, a lot of features and improvements that were introduced by our developers are due to the feedback from our customers, and we're happy to listen to your requirements.
Leah, that was fabulous. Thank you so much for that comprehensive, but yet, I guess, so elegantly put overview of Nuclias Cloud. Certainly there's a fair amount of your input that's gone into making that platform so simple and straightforward and so easy to use. So great, Ilya. Thank you for the demonstration of that. Terrific.
Thank you for watching. Thank you.
Okay, I'd now like to introduce Aaron Portelli, Managing Director at ANS Tech, to join in today. Aaron, great to have you on board with us today.
Hi, Phil. Hi, everyone. How are you going?
Great, really well, thank you, mate. How are things with you? And I guess, why don't you tell us a little bit about your business and about yourself as well?
Yeah, okay. Not a problem. Yeah, so basically, ANS Tech has been in operation since 2006, so we've been going about 15 years now. We look after a number of different verticals, some being manufacturing, retail, hospitality, and the building industry, as well as a couple of professional service industries there as well. And we're basically, we're small enough to know each individual business owner, but we're big enough, we're big enough to look after them all. So, yeah, we've got a number of techs that work for us, both in-house and also overseas. And yeah, we work in those sorts of areas. So.
I like that. Small enough to know, but big enough to be able to look after you. That's great. That, is probably, I guess, a bit similar to the D-Link Australia and D-Link New Zealand philosophy is the way we go about doing going and doing business as well. Before ANS, what was I guess some of the experience that you'd had in terms of I guess different jobs or roles that you'd had, and I guess how did those experiences shape I guess how you've gone and built ANS Tech?
Yeah, so previously I worked for a large MSP system integrator in Brisbane there, and I was an engineer that would go out and do a lot of the enterprise and government jobs. So we would, implement email archiving solutions and all that sort of stuff for government departments and large corporations. And so when we started ANS Tech, we brought some of those methodologies across, but then implemented them in a small way for small to medium businesses, which is the space that we play in now.
Okay.
So
how did you become a D-Link partner? What sort of drew you to D-Link?
Well, we had used some of the more expensive access points that were out there on the market. I'm not sure if we can mention names, but one starting with C and M.
Okay.
And I had some exposure to some of the cheaper end of the market in the one starting with U, and there was nothing in the middle. And so I had actually lost a couple of proposals just because we were too expensive, and I had some bad experiences with the really cheap stuff. So I went out to my disties and I said, there's got to be something there in the middle for these small to medium enterprises that we're doing these Wi-Fi projects for. And they said, have you tried Nuclias Connect? And they said, get on to Bernie in Brisbane. So got in touch with Bernie, and Bernie sent me across a couple of eval units. We trialed them, and they work great in-house. And then so we put them into a couple of small clients, and then had no issues with them, and they went well. And then we moved on to some bigger projects.
So tell us about your first Nuclias customer, and I think that was probably one of your largest Nuclias Cloud sites so far.
Yeah. So it was probably I think it was the second site that we put in, but the PA Research Foundation provides free Wi-Fi in the PA hospital, and we had been providing free Wi-Fi to a certain part of the hospital in the oncology and cancer wards there for a number of years, and we had some old equipment that was there that needed to be replaced. It was about 6 or 7 years old, and performance was not that great there anymore, and we didn't have wireless AC. So we replaced the original units with the D-Link 15. What were they? The 1510Ps.
Yep, DBA 1510s. Yep.
Yeah, DBA 1510Ps, and then basically they received some funding for a project to do all of the spinal and brain injury wards, because there's some people in those wards that they're there for 6 months at a time doing rehab. They've got a lot of downtime, and they provided some funding to the PA Research Foundation to put Wi-Fi throughout those 2 wards of the hospital. And so then we went ahead and we replaced all the existing gear, but also implemented the Wi-Fi solution in those 2 areas of the hospital.
Okay. Any implementation challenges for you during that, being that I guess it was a a larger type installation, and you're just only fairly newly on with Nuclias Cloud?
Yeah. So, like Alex said, it was very intuitive and easy to use the dashboard. So that sort of things, we're okay with that. But just having that peace of mind, we had David come up from Sydney. He did a site survey for us, so we knew that we weren't going to have any dead spots. We basically had it all mapped out on a floor plan. Bernie, David, and I, we walked around the hospital, found all the areas that they needed Wi-Fi into, and we designed the solution. Some of the challenges we had were external to D-Link, but it was we had COVID at the time, so getting access into certain parts of the comms rooms and hospitals was a big challenge. And we also upgraded their internet connection to 1 gig fiber connection, and getting that connection into the hospital was a big challenge. Yeah. So.
Yeah. Now the Nuclias dashboard, no doubt. I mean, you've got a good number of customers now running Nuclias Cloud. I'm sure you and all your staff, you get benefit from the I guess the multi-tenant dashboard, being able to see all of your customers on a single pane of glass. How's that been?
Yes, single pane of glass has been a game changer. Being able to just go in and see each individual customer on a daily basis, see if there's any devices offline, if someone's logged a ticket for anything, we can quickly go in, securely go in and see what's going on in the organization, and basically rectify the problem so much quicker than what you could when you have to log in a VPN into a customer site, and then go across to their Wi-Fi management box and then see what device is causing it. So yeah, it's been a big game changer for us. And I think the biggest thing for us as well has been the monthly billing, right? That suits our model down to a T. So
good stuff. I mean, I'm glad that feedback that we got from people said this is what we want. So that's what we've gone and delivered. Terrific. That's great. That's great feedback.
Yeah.
So what's your experience with our support team been like? So obviously you mentioned Bernie, your account manager based in Brisbane. You're up in Southeast Queensland yourself. You've engaged with our pre-sales engineering team. Of course, we do have level 2 and level 3 techs in Sydney, Australia as well. Tell us a bit about that.
Yeah. So basically, we've got the D-Link priority partner support number there, and it's been terrific that you can. It feels like you're not having to jump through a whole heap of hoops like you do with other vendors. You can just go straight to the D-Link priority partner support, speak to someone straight away who knows the product, knows, the idiosyncrasies with the product and stuff like that, and get help straight away, basically. And, there's been, a couple of little things that I've had to call D-Link priority partner support about. And, we've been able to rectify it reasonably quickly. And yeah, so it's been really good.
So what's your latest Nuclias Cloud project that you've been working on?
So we had a small goods warehouse that we fitted out. So they are a cold storage supplier. So they do all like, your frozen rissoles and meatballs and all that, ship them out to Woolworths, and so in the warehouse they've got dry goods, they've got an ambient room, they've got a freezer, fridge, and it's probably about the size of 1.5 football fields, the building. Okay. And so we fitted that out with what were those models? It's the new one, 3621Ps. So we fitted all the cold rooms out with the 3621Ps, and 5 meters up, pallet racking below, and basically that has enabled them to use their it's a product called ExoBiz, but they've got these handheld scanners that they go around, they scan barcodes with in the freezer. They then pick off the stock, put it onto their pallet, they drive around, and then basically that then gets wrapped up on a loading dock and gets shipped out to site. So I think we put about 6 of the cold storage ones, which were the 3621s, and we put the 1510Ps. We put those in the offices and the dry goods area. And so that's just we wrapped that project up a couple of weeks ago, and yeah, it's going good for them. So
good,
they're wrapped.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
Any other products in the D-Link commercial range that you've been using outside of Nuclias Cloud? We'd love to have everything inside of Nuclias Cloud. It'll get there eventually, and we've got the router coming. Is there anything else that you've been doing in your business that's been useful? Any other tips for anyone else that's listening today?
Yeah, so we've put quite a few of the DWR 921s in.
Okay. The 4G router. The
4G routers, and also we've put a lot of just the DWM 312s in, which is the I think that's the residential 4G ones.
Yeah, the 921's more the residential one. The 312.
Oh, sorry, got them back to front.
Yeah, that's okay. Look, either one. We'd rather you buy more 312s than the 921s. 312s with 2 SIM cards in it and a bit of a more rugged box.
Yeah, so basically for failover purposes, we've been putting those in at the majority of our managed customers, so they fail over to 4G in the event of a primary internet outage, and putting quite a few of those in. And we've also, I can't remember the model numbers, but we've put a couple of point-to-point D-Link access points in to get the Wi-Fi, extend the Wi-Fi network.
Okay.
Up to, I think it was about 600 meters we extended the network. So yeah.
Yep. Cool. Great stuff.
Excellent.
Well, look, it's great to have you working with us as a partner. We appreciate your support and appreciate sharing some of your story today. I'm looking forward to getting up to Queensland and catching up with you at the Sisters Cafe again as well.
Having a coffee. There you go.
A big call out to the sisters out there. Just before we go, here's please everybody here, just keep an eye out for this case study. We expect to have this ready to go in about 2 or 3 weeks' time. This is with Aaron and his team at ANS with the Princess Alexandra Hospital up in Queensland and their research foundation, where they're running Nuclias Cloud for the residents and also for some of the staff in that area as well. So do keep an eye out for that. Aaron, it's been great to hear from you today. Thanks so much for joining us. Do stick around. There might be some questions that might come your way as well.
Thanks, Phil.
Terrific. Okay, so what happens next? What are the next steps should you want to start or continue on your Nuclias Cloud journey with D-Link? Certainly, getting an evaluation product like Aaron at ANS had done, going and testing out the Nuclias Cloud product for yourself, putting that into your customer site. We do have a certification program, which is largely an administrative course, which takes you through all of the steps in terms of onboarding and creating a new customer, going and adding product into that, and going and creating profiles. In terms of the networking fundamentals, that Elia showed you some of those things in terms of Wi-Fi setup, VLANing on your switches and so on. There are other courses that D-Link does run in that. This certification course, it's about 25 minutes of video for you to watch with a 15-question exam at the end of that. So we'd certainly encourage you to go and do that. Speak to your account manager to get access to that. You can go to training.dlink.com.au. The coupon code for this year is D-Link Cert 2021, D-Link Cert 2021. Of course, once you've gone and signed up, you've gone and got your certification. You then need to nominate your billing distributor for where your monthly billing is going to come through for your Nuclias Cloud subscription. any of these distributors are able to assist you with that. Blue Chip Infotech, Dynamic Supplies, EdSys, Ingram Micro, Multimedia Technology, or Synex. These are distributors in Australia. For New Zealand, you need to contact Paul Batchelor in our New Zealand team, and he can work with you on that. Of course, if you are not yet a D-Link partner, we would certainly encourage you to go and sign up as well at dlink.com.au/rewards or dlink.co.nz/rewards to go and do that. Okay, we did mention at the start of the webinar that there is a special offer for people attending today's webinar as well. So for your first customer network, if indeed you are a new Nuclias Cloud reseller, or you've gone and got signed up to Nuclias Cloud and you haven't yet sold a customer network, for your first network, we are offering that to you at a massive 80% off RRP is your purchase price on that for a customer network. There are some fair use policies on that. Talk to your account manager for that. But certainly within means, we absolutely want to help you to go and to get a customer signed up and to go and get them experiencing Nuclias Cloud and to get you going and using Nuclias Cloud as well. I think everybody here would agree that certainly the experience of the partners that we've had on today, Aaron from ANS and Alex from Procision, that their experiences have really been fantastic. They've found the cloud dashboard really intuitive, a highly feature-rich product, which is delivering all of the features that SME-focused MSPs are absolutely looking for. I think Aaron put it in a really nice way that it absolutely wasn't at the bottom end in terms of performance or price, but certainly not at the top end either in terms of price. It's absolutely something right in the middle, which is a really, really great spot for the SME market. So for more details on this, you will get an email if you've attending today's webinar. There'll be a survey that you get, complete that survey, and this webinar offer will go out to you as well. Or, of course, you can go and contact your account manager all across the region, across Australia and New Zealand. Big shout out to our 3 account managers, Bernie Reisenberger looking after Queensland and the Northern Territory, Michael Crocombe looking after New South Wales and the ACT, and Colin Chambers looking after Victoria, Tasmania, South Australia and Western Australia. Of course, all of you across Australia would be very familiar with our pre-sales engineer, Aaron Bilton. In New Zealand, Paul Batchelor is our regional sales manager based down in Christchurch, but is of course, sorry, not in Christchurch, in Wellington. Apologies to you, Paul, but is of course available and does get out across the nation of New Zealand very, very often as well. Aaron from ANS did mention our partner priority support available in both and Australia and New Zealand on a free call number. So please feel free to make use of our excellent and highly qualified support team there as well. Not just for Nuclias Cloud, but for any D-Link for Business networking product. Those numbers there are appearing on your screen right now. I think now it's almost my favorite part of the webinar where we go to some questions. So let's just go and have a look at the chat box. There are some questions that have been coming through. If you do have some more questions to put in, now would be a great time to put that in before we wrap the webinar up. While the questions are coming out, I will just pop that our contact details back up here on the screen in case you needed to grab any of those questions, any of those details there. Okay, we've got a question here from Alan. Ilya, I think this might be a good one for you to answer. Will the D-Link APs still be able to operate via Nuclias Cloud without D-Link switching and routing? Alan, an excellent question. Ilya.
Yes. So access points themselves, as well as switches, do not require any other devices to be Nuclias Cloud managed, so they can be connected on any network. As soon as they can access the internet, you can manage them remotely, centrally through the Nuclias Cloud portal.
Okay, great. Really good question, Alan. Yeah, so whether you've got switching or wireless, as long as there's an internet connection, absolutely that can work. A question here from Malcolm across the ditch in New Zealand. Good day to you, Malcolm. Are some of these features on Nuclias switches rolling out to other D-Link switches? Ilya, again, I think you're pretty highly qualified to answer that one as well.
Yes, yeah, certainly. So all these switches that you saw, quite vast majority of those are already available in our regular switches, smart managed. Well, apart from the ability to manage them centrally through the cloud. But if there's anything that you saw that you think are not available, please do let us know. So any specific feature. So obviously VLANs are available, scheduled PoE is available, PD alive, we're monitoring of a device, remote device, if it is alive or not, also available. So all these features are actually do available in non-cloud switches as well.
One of the most useful features, and I know that that's come up for a number of our guests that have joined us here in our webinars over the last 12 months or so, has been the cable test feature, which is there in products like our DGS 1210 series, our DGS 1510, 1520 series. That's absolutely a really good feature for troubleshooting. So yeah, that's a standard D-Link feature. So yeah. Malcolm, if there's anything else that you think you'd like to see on there, please do let us know. But I think that whether it's Nuclias Cloud or not, I think there's some really great feature parity across our entire range. Another question here: are there any plans to add routing into Nuclias Cloud? That question must have come in before we looked at the feature roadmap. Ilya, I think it's the DBG 2000. Is that the model number of the SD-WAN gateway?
That's correct, yes. So obviously, yes, we're expecting to launch DBG 2000, which is SD-WAN gateway, which can be managed through the cloud in Q3.
Yeah, and it's great to actually see a physical picture of one of these products now. We're very looking forward to getting our samples. For any of our partners that are in the southern region of Australia, Colin Chamberlain, your account manager, has pretty much put his hand up for all of our samples that come in, because he's got a number of customers that are wanting to evaluate those products. So if you are indeed wanting to evaluate, do go and talk to the wonderful hoarder that is Colin Chamberlain, and he might be able to share some of those products with you. If you're not in VicTaz, SA or WA, please get in touch with Michael or with Bernie or with Paul, or of course you can feel free to contact Ilya or myself if you are wanting to get your hands on one of those products as well. Okay, we've got a question here from Mo. Ilya, is there a way which D-Link could implement a new feature to automate reporting? So as an MSP, we could provide a monthly or weekly reports of a customer's AP switches, their data usage or other stats via email to our clients. Pretty good suggestion there.
Yeah, it is a good suggestion. So thank you for that. At the moment, you can obviously retrieve that information from the portal, but it is not automated, so it doesn't email it to you automatically. But I'll definitely pass this suggestion to our developers, and hopefully it is possible to implement. Great.
Ilya, question here from Peter. Are there any 10 gig products in the cloud lineup? Is there anything in the roadmap?
Yes, there is. So we do have, say, a roadmap which goes far into the future. At the moment, it is hard to say with the current, problem with the chipsets around the world. It's not just us. When exactly it's going to be implemented, but I know that our R&D is already working on a new generation of switches, or addition to our current ones, which would introduce 10 gigabit uplinks and also 2.5 gig ports as well.
And I think there's just from the roadmap update that we received last week, that there's some switches that are looking at having all all 10 gig ports on there as well. So some interesting product that's coming, not quite as quickly as we might like them to come through, but nevertheless they are on the they're on the roadmap. It's going to be curious as to how we chipset shortages do start to affect, I guess, all sorts of product. Okay, great, Peter. Thanks so much for that question. Excellent question here from Raymond. Ilya, will the AP still work if my client chooses to stop the Nuclias Cloud subscription down the track?
Yes, it will work. You still have an option to disable the access point. So you as an MSP can remotely just remove it from the customer's organization, and it will basically factory reset it. But if you don't want to do it, the access point will continue to operate with the latest configuration. The only problem is that you won't be able to change the configuration on that IP.
Okay, so yes, it will still work. So unlike some other vendors' product, but you just can't make any changes.
That's right. Yeah.
Okay, Raymond, hopefully that answers your question there. Good question here from Nick. Good day to you, Nick. Can we integrate existing infrastructure into Nuclias Cloud? I've got a new client that already has existing equipment in place and will be taking them over as a customer. They don't have the funds to throw everything out and get new gear. Well, I guess the good answer there is that we have got a pretty compelling offer, which might help them to be able to get onto Nuclias Cloud with our 80% off, offer. But Ilya, you might have some slightly different news there for Nick, although I don't think there's going to be good news.
Well, there is API available, and there is some integration with third-party systems, but it is obviously quite a lot of work. So it needs to be looked at by our developers and see if it is possible to integrate.
So I don't think but it isn't possible to connect a DGS 1210 28p D-Link switch or another vendor's switch into the Nuclias Cloud platform.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I probably misunderstood the question. Yeah, you're correct, Phil. So if you already have existing legacy equipment, no, unfortunately not. So it needs to be designed specifically for Nuclias Cloud.
Okay, Nick, we have got a special deal at the moment. Certainly encourage you to pick up the phone and speak to myself or Michael. I know that you're based in Sydney. Yeah, we'll see what we can do to try and help you and to help your customer out. Okay, I think that's all the questions that I can see that have come through so far. Certainly, a big thank you to all of our guests today. It's been great to have everybody join us today. Really appreciated having some input, not only from the amazing Ilya, who never fails to impress me with the wonderful knowledge that he has about D-Link. There's certainly nothing that Ilya doesn't know about D-Link that isn't worth knowing. I think that's how the saying goes. But it's been terrific. Also hearing from a couple of partners, Alex from Procision. Thanks so much for your time and sharing with us a bit of your Nuclias journey. We certainly wish you well, and I wish Procision really well. And we certainly I will get a router out to you as soon as we've got one available.
Great. That's pretty good news.
Aaron, thanks so much for
thanks, Phil,
as well. Looking forward to getting that case study out for the PA Foundation, and looking forward to helping you to go and win some more business in Southeast Queensland and beyond.
Awesome.
Terrific. Well, it is a good day from me, Phil Tarbox, and we certainly look forward to having your company for the next D-Link webinar. It's a very good day from me and a good afternoon to everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.